Sir Rich Radio's 96.7 The Beat. DJ Scream is here. Miranda's here. We have a very, 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 very special guest in the building today.
Legend.
The OG, the legend, Jay Prince is here. Let's give it up for him. Get it up for him.
Yeah.
Welcome to Hood Rich Radio, my brother.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Everything been good in Atlanta so far on your run?
Beautiful. I'm thinking about getting me a house out here.
Okay.
Might as well.
We might need that in Atlanta. We need that energy.
Might as
man.
well.
Yeah, they've been welcoming me with open arms and nothing but love.
Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, there's been a lot of media going on, and there's a lot of recurring topics that's been happening. But I want to talk about just the South and Southern hip hop culture, and when you were doing your thing back then, did you ever think or know or see the vision for it coming this far? Because we've been at the top of the game for some time now.
Yeah, one of my favorite lines that I always express to everybody. I tell the East Coast, y'all piece of bread in the East. The West Coast, y'all piece of bread, and we the meat. So meaning the South, we the meat. They can't have a real sandwich without us. So and I feel good. It make me feel good knowing where I started and how we used to get booed. You know what I mean? We sounded too country. We got booed and different things like that. To see, Atlanta, Miami, places in the South holding the ball, you know what I mean, and not giving it up. Music to my ears.
And also, you got to give yourself a lot of credit for kind of blueprinting that in the independent blueprint. Right. Y'all were straight out the trunk. That's how Rap A Lot started, right? There was no major label, not going up to New York. It was just out the trunk, just straight out the trunk, right?
Yeah, just straight out the trunk, straight out your hand, wherever you can make it pop at. You know what I mean? We wasn't in a position like the East Coast and West Coast to have access to record labels and different things like that. So I ain't had no help. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, they didn't even like my music enough to even want to help it. You know what I mean? It was that stage of the game where we was discriminated on in the South. Plain and simple.
So one thing I always kind of complain about sometimes to the younger artists, and we love and embrace the younger artists, is sometimes I feel like they take that for granted. It's almost kind of like certain people get hosed down to walk to the front of the bus, and now you get on the bus and walk straight to the back of it. Do you ever feel like the same way, like you fought so hard for some people who just, might be messing up our legacy?
Yeah, and that's when I try to speak up when I see things like that taking place, you know what I mean? Because, and you're exactly right, because I remember hearing conversations, I have a great-grandmother that was 114 years old.
Wow.
So you can imagine the things that she saw and experienced, and she would tell me, we fought for this right. You know what I mean? People died for this right. And, as a youngster, it was hard for me to, digest a lot of them things. So, sometimes I find myself in that same situation, definitely being the one to blaze the trail here in the South and to see people take it for granted or not value the blessings that go along with it.
How do we preserve the culture? What would you say to the youth? What's the main key, other than respect, which is important? That's what this is all about. But how do we preserve the culture and not lose it? Because we can lose it. We saw New York kind of lose it due to some nonsense. You know what I'm saying? What advice would you give the young ones?
Yeah, keep balance. You know what I mean? We got to keep balance where everything is concerned. And, I was going to say respect, because that's the heart of even keeping balance. But, I think most of all, don't kill yourself. And I hear all this pill popping going on right now. You know what I mean? Don't commit suicide.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Right. So you can reach your peak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's real. So,
self-inflicting pain.
That's real.
Exactly.
So going back to, the beginning, we know y'all really put down for the South. So how did you know the Ghetto Boys were stars? How did you know UGK was stars? What was it about them that made you say, yo, I'm about to rock with them?
Well, what I ended up doing, that's a story, because I got rid of the first set of Ghetto Boys because they told me I was too deep. They couldn't relate to my subject matters. And when I invested in their subject matters and it didn't work, I didn't question that. But when you know what I mean, my last piece of money. I said, we got to do this my way. I see what y'all trying to write. I live this. So at least let me write the story and you make it rhyme. And they told me I was too deep, so I got rid of all of them. And that's when I researched Houston and came up with Willie D, Scarface, and Bushwick Bill. You know what I mean? So I distinctively picked 3 personalities, 3 people that didn't know one another to deliver my message, because I knew why I named the group Ghetto Boys. You know, I felt like it was ghetto boys all over the world, and we wanted to be a voice for them.
Right.
So, you know, that was the foundation of that.
You always been a man of like few words. What made you say now's the time to do press and media and talk to people, and now's the time to put out this book? Why now?
Yeah, you know, it's a time and a place for everything. And I started working on this book like in 2014, and I could have finished it in 2014. But you know, I'm a man that follow my spirit. You know what I mean? I follow my intuition, my discernment, and it was no time better than now, as far as I'm concerned. And you know, I executed, and I hope it's received, because you know this is a book that deals with, you know, my life. It's my biography. And the way I won, you know, my wins, my losses, you know, everything in between. So, you know, when you walk around and people ask you how you do this, they want to know what you do, how you done it, when, where, how. You know what I mean? It's the opportunity to share wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in a book, and something that I leave behind as a part of my legacy for the rest of my life.
You think there will be more books to come, or this is probably going to be it?
Strong possibility, you know, strong possibility, but one at a time.
One at a time.
How does the book compare to your legacy, though? Because you've done a lot of great things up into this book. And, you know, some people could say this book is just a bonus, because you slick have showed a lot of people how to get it in the music game independently. So how does this book add to all your legacy as it is now?
Well, I think this book is somewhat of a blueprint and instructions and different things that made my legacy what it is. You know what I mean? You even have opportunity to see me, how I was developed from a kid. You know, not only what I'd done in the music game, but the obstacles and the different challenges that I accomplished before I got to the music game. And it's really interesting, because, you know, a lot of people want your glory, but they don't want your story.
Facts.
And they may not want my glory after knowing my story. Yeah.
How did you get into the music game, though? Like, how did you stumble into it?
My brother, his name was Sir Rap-A-Lot.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, I told him, he was a rapper, rapped in my ear all the time. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm going to start this record label for you. You stay out the street.
Right. Good brother.
Yeah, you just, do your thing, and I'm going to do my thing. And I'm going to name this company Rap-A-Lot. And he ended up getting a 20-something year sentence. And the other 2 guys were left behind, and I kept my word and, you know, stayed with them.
How does Jay Prince deal with social media, man? That's got to be like a rude awakening. Because it's a rude awakening for me. So how does it, because you have an Instagram. We've seen you posting, and I know you have to scroll. I know you've checked it out. How does Jay Prince deal with social media?
You know, I've been a quiet storm all my life, right? And I've trained myself to be a certain way as far as people knowing my movements and different things like that. You know, I think it's a part of how I lasted in the different storms and stuff that I went through. So this social media is, you know, this is.
But you see, but it's love hate, because you see how powerful it is.
It's powerful.
When you post, the world knows. Jay Prince is posting.
Yes, it's everywhere.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
when Jay
even
Prince
when Will
speaks,
Smith came to Instagram, it's like, Will Smith is here on Instagram. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, no, it is, and I don't know if I love it more than I hate it.
Right, right.
You know, I walk softly where it's concerned, and I'm adjusting slowly.
Yeah.
But you know, as I adjust, you know, I'll be okay. I'm receiving it already.
Yeah. One of the pros has to be, like back in the day, like we say again, out the trunk and flyer by flyer, person by person. Now you can kind of just post a couple posts.
The things that took me 6 months,
right?
You know, to break, y'all. You know, they can punch a button and bam.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what a day and night difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
And on a positive note, I really do feel like whenever you post anything, it's like the world stops to tune in to what you got to say. You could be talking about, I don't know, fried chicken. People gonna listen.
Like that.
That goes back to respect.
Yeah, it goes right back to
It goes
respect.
back to respect.
Like people
See,
really,
I don't even understand the power of like that statement right there. I don't know what that means.
it means that people respect you.
People respect
Just
yeah,
like that.
Just
yeah,
like that.
no, it's
like people want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Because some people say so much about nothing, it's like, oh, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's like if Jay Prince is speaking, it's like, okay, let's listen. And we've always listened and we wanted more. That's why it's
Right.
a beautiful moment to get this press and everything because we've always wanted more and now we're getting it.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of the youth need it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they might not have had people to guide them a certain way.
That's real.
Right.
Another thing I want to speak about is, you know, if you're an artist or if you're in music, diversifying the portfolio and having different business ventures. How important do you think that is to CEOs and rappers alike?
Well, I think it's important if you have the gift to manage whatever you're doing, because just like it's important, it can make or break you. You know what I mean? I'm a firm believer in staying in my lane. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a jack of a bunch of trades and a master of none. So whatever you good at, wherever your passion, wherever your gift is at, then you know my what's the word I'm trying to use? My
Forte?
encouragement.
Your encouragement.
I just want to encourage. Let me use that one. You know what I mean? Advise me. You know, is to stay in your lane. Do what you good at. You know, play on your playing field that you have, you know, some kind of say-so in and control over versus embracing everybody else's dreams, because you know how it is when you get success for everybody come to you with some kind of dream and vision that they have. And it's easy to embrace that and go broke. You know what I mean? So try and stay in your lane on your playing field, do what you do, and keep it moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finally, I'm gonna ask you because I know you've been a part of sports too. How do you think that the NFL players should handle the whole anthem thing moving forward?
You know, I believe in freedom of speech. You know what I mean? I believe in that strongly. You know, my whole career in the music game, you know, I felt like, you know, we had the right to say what we wanted to say. And of course, a lot of people agreed and disagreed. So I feel the same way with NFL, NBA, you know, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? You have that right to kneel if you want to kneel, but it seems as if others think differently. And
but you got your profession and you love the sport and your passion for it, but then the powers that be is telling you will be, you basically, if you do kneel and you don't salute the flag, even though you're saluting it for a particular purpose, that you'll be punished.
Well, that's a real testing situation for those who got to play ball. You know what I mean? Now you got to make a decision. Do you want to stand over here or do you want to stand over here? You know what I mean? And that's the ultimate test. And 9 times out of 10, you know, most going to submit. You know what I mean? They're going to stand up and do like this.
To get the check.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and if you feel, if it don't matter to you, I'm not criticizing it one way or the other. You know what I mean? But for those that, you know, really feel that strongly about that situation, they feel that for a reason. So I can't knock them for standing or kneeling. Yeah.
That's real. Okay. Before we wrap, because, you know, Rap A Lot Records on indie label, I just want to know, who are some of your favorite artists growing up when you was a kid? Who inspired you musically?
Well, I was a Motown baby.
Okay.
As a kid, you know what I mean? I had to listen to it whether I wanted to or not.
Word.
I mean? It was forced on me, but I learned to appreciate it. And I even had a Michael Jackson voice before I turned 13.
Oh, word. Okay, just learned something new about it.
I had pipes. Pipes like that.
Okay.
Just learned something new. I bet.
All right, there it is. Big shouts out to Jay Prince. We appreciate you, homie. The art and science of respect. Make sure you get that. You get that. Silver Rich Radio 96.7 to be salute.